welcome to Young People's Report. I'm Nicole Williams.
And I'm Rahul Ganatra. Today on YPR, we'll be looking at different ways people go places, like hot air ballooning, canoeing, and driving.
Our first story is about airplanes. We're at Bishop Airport in Flint, and flying is how lots of people go places.
Some of the most important people in flying aren't even in the air. Becky Britt spent some time at MBS International Airport in Freeland and has their story.
There are lots of jobs related to flying that take place right here on the ground. One of them is right here in the control tower. Every second a plane is in the air, there's someone watching it and telling the pilot where to fly. Those people are called air traffic controllers. Their job is to make sure that all the planes in the air stay a safe distance from each other.
Air traffic controllers do a lot of things, and it's real important because we also can provide kind of like a set of eyes for pilots, especially in the bad weather when they can't see. We can keep them from running into other airplanes, so that's real important.
In the tower, they control planes taking off and landing. But after planes take off, they are served by people in another room where radar screens and controls are the only light.
We can start right in the center, and that's where MBS International is. Also, you'll notice this line that's moving is called a sweep. That's the center of our scope, or the center of our world, if we want to call it that. We have little airports depicted on this map also that are nearby. Saginaw Brown is down here, Bay City Clemens Airport's up here, and Midland Barstow's over here. Each of the circles that you see in the area on this map are small airports that are generally speaking in the airspace that the controller at Saginaw will work. Now, strictly geographically, if we look up in here, you'll see this shape. That's Saginaw Bay. And once you know what that is, it's really easy to determine where you are on the map, because Saginaw Bay is a very prominent feature. On the radar display, we have what's called a position signal, and that's exactly where the airplane is. Associated with that is what's called a full data block. In the data block is the call sign of the airplane, and then down below it is his altitude, and then next to that is his ground speed. In this case, this aircraft's name is 8994 Tango. He's at 6,100, and he's doing 130 knots over the ground. This is an air carrier type aircraft that departed and is heading down towards Cincinnati. When he takes off, he shows up initially like this. The computer recognizes a code that's dialed in and tags him up with the full data block that we talked about. He'll continue on his route of flight. His altitude will change as he climbs out, and eventually he gets to an altitude that's such that we don't have control of the airspace that he's entering. So we hand him off to the next controller.
You have to remember a lot of things, but you don't have to keep them in mind for very long. And what I mean by that is some airplanes that are very fast, we only talk to for a short amount of time. The slower airplanes, we work for a little bit longer time. So you need to be able to remember everything about that airplane while you're responsible for them.
On your next trip, your pilot may be talking to as many as 25 different people sitting at radar screens like this one. From the control tower at MBS International Airport in Freeland, I'm Becky Britt reporting for YPR.
The control tower here at Bishop International Airport runs pretty much the same way, as do thousands of other airports around the world.
Now that you know how they keep airplanes from running into each other, wouldn't you like to fly one? If you're between the ages of 7 and 17, you can do just that. A few YPR reporters did, and Hellebuych has their story.
Everybody knows what that's called, don't they?
Yep.
What's that called?
Propeller.
Yeah.
These kids are about to take flight. No, they're not going on vacation, just going flying. What's even more unusual about this is that they will be in the pilot seat. It's all part of the Young Eagles program, which aims to reach 1 million kids like these by the year 2003. That's 100 years after the Wright brothers first flew. This program is sponsored by the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association, and its members have already put almost 200,000 kids in the air. They have flown in all sorts of aircraft from home-built models to military aircraft. One flight pioneer, General Chuck Yeager, recently spoke about his experience with the program.
This year, I participated in a lot of Young Eagle flights, and I've got to see the expression on the kids' face when they get a hold of controls of an airplane and fly it for the first time. All you've got to do to get a kid interested in airplanes is let him fly one. But once we get that interest in aviation, and I think you've planted a seed that'll really produce a lot of fruit.
Those seeds are being spread by pilots like Ken Disler and Jim Lathrop, two local EAA members who have sponsored many young Eagle flights.
It's a voluntary program where the pilots donate their time, their airplane, and we'll take the youngster up and give them a ride and an introduction for flight for absolutely nothing. They have to fill out the forms, have their parents give their consent, sign the papers, and that's it. It's interesting whenever we take the youngsters up and the kids up to fly in an airplane, and you get a variety of responses. And I've learned that some kids who really thought they'd like flying find out they love flying. Very few are uninterested. Almost every one of them is enthusiastic, some of them more than others.
They say that the sky and the child's imagination have no limits. From up here, you see the connection.
The view is amazing. From the air, you can see everything. We flew over my house and my school, and they look so small from the air. All the kids who flew with us had the same reaction.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was fun to see you go up and then you go up and down. It was fun.
It was really neat. I got to do the controls. It was really neat.
We went pretty high. I think he said we went to 3,000 feet. We went over I think it was the Saginaw Bay, and we got to see the other plane, and we flew real close to each other, and it was real fun.
It's definitely a great experience. From the skies of mid-Michigan, I'm Adam Hellebuych reporting for WEYI.
If you'd like to see what flying is all about, the Young Eagles program may be perfect for you. To arrange a flight, call the EAA office at area code 414-426-4800. That's 426-4800. So, Rahul, was that you I saw in that story?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And they called you Bagman?
That had to do with the air sickness bag. Don't ask.
Okay. We have to take a break, but when we come back, we'll see what it's like to float through the air. Don't go away. Welcome back to Young People's Report. Here at Bishop International Airport, a lot of people fly to get somewhere, but there are lots of other types of flying. Kevin Delecki got up early one morning to check out one of the most fun types of flying.
Here in Fenton, the sun is just on the horizon, and it's only 37 degrees. They tell me it's going to be a beautiful day for ballooning.
They send up a small test balloon to see what the winds are like. Then they attach the big balloon to the basket and lay it out on the ground. Then powerful fans are used to fill it with air. They even let me help hold open the balloon. From the inside, the balloon is huge, and the wind from the fans is really strong. Then they started up the burners, and the balloon started to straighten up. It didn't take more than a few seconds before it was fully inflated, and I climbed in.
And now we're ready to take off. Do we get seatbelts or something?
Nope, you're not going to need them. It's going to be nice and smooth, and if there is any movement in the basket, that's why it's padded around here, and you can hang on to any of the leather-covered area, but it's going to be nice and smooth, so you won't need any seatbelts.
The burner heats up the air inside the balloon to make it lighter. That's what gets it off the ground. After liftoff, we climbed to 2,500 feet, where we could see for miles in every direction. Lots of farmland and got to see my house and my school from the air. Everything looks so different from up here. Since we're moving with the wind, there's no breeze, and it's so quiet up here. Just take a look.
This area is an extremely beautiful area to fly. As you can see, we've got lakes almost every place you look. The terrain is nice and rolling, And the scenery is ever changing. You have pine tree forests over here, you have different trees and wildlife underneath you all the time. Balloons cannot be steered as such, not like an airplane, but what you can do is choose different winds that might be available. There may be a low-level wind that's going one direction, and just above it another wind going a completely opposite direction or a different speed. And by using those winds, by changing your altitude, you can find a different wind, go a different direction, and that causes the balloon to change its place. My most enjoyable part about ballooning is the fact that I get a lot of fun out of watching everybody's reactions when we fly. They're always a little worried about what's going to happen because they don't know much about ballooning. And then when they take their flight, they're always so excited about it and happy that they did it. And it just is a good feeling to have taking people up and giving them so much enjoyment.
If you're looking for a great adventure in any season, maybe hot air ballooning is for you. From the skies above Fenton, this is Kevin Delecki reporting for YPR.
There are a number of places that give balloon rides. Check under balloons in the yellow pages for one near you.
If you want to explore but flying isn't for you, there are lots of other options. One is to take a boat. Darren McCullough went along on a field trip with some kids from Midland and filed this report.
There was a time that being on the safety patrol just got you out of class a few minutes early. But these kids from Parkdale Elementary are always on the go. Today, they will venture out on the Chippewa River in canoes.
I really think that this trip is just kind of a fun introductory trip to, get the kids more involved in safety patrol.
The kids were dropped off with their canoes, and after some quick instructions, they were off. Even though some of the kids didn't have much experience in canoes, they did rather well, most of the time. We asked the kids what they thought of the trip.
I like going down the river splashing everybody. It's funner. It makes up for having to stand on the street corner in the cold in the morning.
It's really fun because we're splashing each other and we're talking and we're spending time with our friends.
Daryl Steffen, the teacher in charge, says that these outings are important.
All of our trips are a positive reinforcement. Adults get a paycheck. If you have a newspaper route, that is your paycheck. That is your positive reinforcement. It's your pay for doing a fine job, and we're trying to teach the students some responsibilities now. You do an excellent job watching your corner, and then you get to participate in these activities.
I thought it was cool, I learned how to canoe and stuff, and I really forgot how. I got stuck and I had to push my feet with my feet, and I got them all wet,
It was good, but at first, you kept crashing into things, but then you got the hang of turning through the branches.
What made this trip fun?
Well, we fell off right in the beginning. He was trying to get into the canoe, and his foot got stuck in the mud, and then he put his hand on the canoe and tipped it over, and then I fell in the water, and then he tripped and fell in the water, and that was exciting. I don't know if it was fun. The water was cold.
I was the last one in the canoe, and she was sitting safely before I tripped and pushed down the side of the canoe, so I guess it could have been my fault, but I've tried to put the responsibility on her because I hate taking blame.
I think the most fun was not being in the canoe with my daughter. I got to sit back a little ways and watch her from a distance just go from shore to shore to shore to shore.
We had to pull these two girls that kept screwing up, and it was really fun.
If you'd like to take your own canoe trip, rental places are in the phone book. Come on out and see how much fun it is. From the middle of the Chippewa River, I'm Darren McCullough for YPR.
There are lots of great rivers to explore in mid-Michigan, and canoes are one of the best ways to go.
We have to take another break, but when we come back, we'll see how roadside art is created. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Young People's Report. Almost anywhere you travel, there are ads to buy this or go there. Some of these ads are a large type of art, and Bree Lerner went to see how they're made.
If you've ever driven down the freeway, you've seen them. Some people consider them eyesores, but others consider them art. They are billboards.
An advertising campaign is designed to sell products or services for the clients, and billboards are advertising. The idea behind them is to sell more for the clients, or to tell you where the next restaurant is if you're driving with your family.
We're at Gannett Outdoor in Flint to take a look at how this special kind of advertising is made.
Sometimes the customers come with the ideas and know exactly what they want, and oftentimes the ideas just pop into my head as they're talking about what it is that they want.
This is where the artwork is turned into the actual billboard you see on the side of the road. We talked to Charlie Boyle to find out how that is done.
We take and blow this up onto a big scale like you see behind me, and it looks like a big line drawing or coloring book drawing. And then we go through the process of mixing the colors, which we use our eyes. We have to just, that's where our skill comes in, is mixing, matching colors. And then we have to kind of make everything all blend and fall in place. And
painting a picture this big is not easy, but there are some things you can do to make it easier.
you have to step back, look at the picture that you're going to paint, and decide where you're going to start. Like, I'll try to do the backgrounds first, put the background in, make that look like it's supposed to, and then the things that are in front or the foreground, then I paint those last. And to say, well, this is how we do it, is you use your artistic ability. It's like coming up with a painting on a canvas. You have to use God-given ability.
Gee, maybe this isn't so hard. But how does a person get into this field?
I decided to be an artist when I was about 11 years old, and I worked and worked and worked at it. I just spent all my time drawing people's portraits. Can I draw your portrait, you know? And I copied like great paintings and stuff like that.
I've always been an artist, and I thought this would be a really neat way to be able to make a living and be an artist too, because there's not a lot of things that artists can express himself with like this. There's a lot of interesting things going on with computer graphics right now. You can buy art programs that allow you can actually paint with the mouse and take a photograph and turn it into like a drawing. Add colors to it. There's a Corel Draw, and there's a lot of them out there. If you go, when you're in the store looking at computer stuff with your parents, ask them to let you find some things that are like art CD-ROMs or discs. Learn all you can about the computer. It's important in the future, especially for artists.
After they are done painting, the billboard is put up along the road somewhere. In Flint, I'm Bree Lerner, reporting for YPR. Did you ever wish you could just go somewhere else to get away for a day? We asked kids at Plymouth Elementary what they would do if they could spend a full day doing anything they wanted in our YPR question of the week.
If I could spend one day doing whatever I wanted, I would probably want to go to Florida because that's where a lot of lizards are, and I like lizards a lot.
I'd probably go to the roller arena with all my friends. I would want to visit as many states as I could because I think it would be really fun.
I'd probably go to the Basketball Hall of Fame because I like basketball.
I'd probably go mountain climbing or play soccer with my friends.
I would probably go to the San Diego Zoo because I like animals.
I'd probably spend the whole day at the movie theaters because there are a lot of movies I haven't seen and I want to see.
I'd probably want to go to New York and see the New York Liberties play basketball.
I'd probably want to go down to Kentucky to see my great-grandma Stamper because she's really old.
I would probably go to the Bahamas because my neighbors have gone there and they say it's really cool. I'd probably go to the Mall of America with my friends because I like to hang out and have fun.
I'd probably go to Kokomo's because it's like really expensive. My mom wouldn't let me go there.
I go to the mall and sit in the arcade all day to play video games.
I go down to Puerto Rico because I've been there before and I'd like to go there again.
I would like to visit my dad in Flint and go bowling together because I miss him.
I'd basically spend that day with all my friends because that's pretty much a way that I have fun. If you have a suggestion for question of the week or a story idea for YPR, we want to hear about it. You can send your comments or ideas to Young People's Report, P.O. Box 250, Clio, Michigan 48420.
You can also send email to WEYI@AOL.com. You never know, you could be our next story.
Have you ever wanted to fly through the stars? There's a place where you can, right here in mid-Michigan, and we'll take you there after we take a break. Don't go away. There are some places you can't get to from airports, like outer space, at least not yet. There are a couple of ways you can travel to the stars without even leaving Michigan. Brett Augustine visited one of them and has this report.
The best way to find stars in Bay City is in this brightly colored building. It was built with the help of NASA, and it is run by Delta College. It's called a planetarium, and that's where you can see stars, planets, comets, and even constellations.
I like it, and I think it's really cool because it's big, and I haven't really had a planetarium in my town before. It's important to have a planetarium because when you have a planetarium, people learn more about the stars.
Gary Beckstrom, the show manager, calls the shows edutainment.
Since this is part of Delta College, we're supposed to be educating people, right? Telling them about the nighttime sky. But at the same time, do you think you'd come back here if it wasn't fun and entertaining?
No.
So if you put entertainment and education together, you get the word edutainment.
One of the shows for kids is called Space Pirates, where two pirates try to steal the constellations, but a couple of kids make them put them back.
Fire!
Yay! We put Orion back!
Most of the kids we spoke to agreed on their favorite part of the show.
When they had the stars moving all around all over the place was pretty cool. It was like a 3D type thing, and I've never seen something like that before.
When we go through the stars, it seems like a little roller coaster, a little 3D type like.
But the kids also learned something.
I learned that there's the Milky Way was made up of a lot of different stars, like sort of fainted stars.
I learned that there was a lot of pictures up in the sky that I never even saw before, so I thought it was pretty cool.
This planetarium has some very special equipment.
This is a digital computerized planetarium, and that makes it different. We've got basically a TV tube that projects the stars overhead, and the entire planetarium is automated. We've got 4 computers that operate everything, that makes everything all happen at the same time, along with the soundtrack.
The planetarium also has some very high-tech audio equipment, including a 12,000-watt stereo system. That's more than 100 times more powerful than most people have at home. So with a little imagination and the help of some very special equipment, you can go flying through the stars and even learn something in the process. From the Delta College Planetarium and Learning Center in Bay City, I am Brent Augustine reporting for YPR.
There are other planetariums in the area, including Longway Planetarium in Flint. They're great places to tour the night skies.
Of course, it doesn't matter where you go. Travel is great. Even if you're just watching other people come and go, watching the planes take off and land is fun. That's all the time we have for this week. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good week and a great weekend. Welcome back to Young People. Okay. Welcome back to... I'm gonna get this.
Here at Bishop International Airport, a lot of people fly to get somewhere. But there are lots of other types of flying. Kevin Delecki got up... I said Delecki. We asked kids at Plymouth Elementary what they would do if they could spend a full day doing anything they wanted in our YPR question of the week. Good morning and welcome to Young People's Report. I'm Nicole Williams.
And I'm Rahul Ganatra.
What was so funny? Good morning and welcome to Young People's Report. I'm Nicole Williams.
And I...
Back to Earth.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where you go. Travel is great. What?